I thought I'd put together a quick video of my analysis of this property in Charlotte, North Carolina. So you're looking at the offering memorandum that I got a hold of. It's in blah 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 blah. Where's the? It's right smack dab in the middle of downtown Charlotte, in the fourth ward. There's a whole bunch of stuff here which is not really relevant for us. They're all single. There's 10 units in this building. They're all single room, single bathroom, 600 square feet. Um, Here are the financials. What's interesting here is um, these are supposedly the actuals. They spent some money on exterior repairs, about 15 grand last year, and they're saying that if you want to do any other investment um, or any other future value added, they're saying you should put in interior upgrades, and they have something to say about that in a second. Um, Rent is about $900 a unit. And we'll look at what the rest looks like when I put it on a sheet. They're also trying to sell us, obviously, what it would look like, or what we could imagine it looks like if it was in our hands, where the actuals are showing a total income of about 96,000. They're saying that could go up to 106, 107. They're claiming that costs could go down from 44 to 35, thus impacting the net operating income. There's a couple of assumptions being made here. One, that vacancy is going to go down. They've had a lot of issues with vacancies, although they claim that the property is fully rented. But somewhere I saw that they put in a little disclaimer that some of that was month to month. Not always a great indicator. They're claiming to do that for us, so it'll be easier to raise the rents. But what they're really saying, that what you need in order to raise the rents, is down here, and that is invest another $11,000 per unit in order to raise the rents by $250. Okay, so that's the package. Let's see what that gives us in some kind of analysis. I've sort of shaded that out so it's easier to see what we're looking at. So initially, let's just look at what the memorandum gives us. They're asking for $1,350,000. There's 10 units. We'll assume that we're getting 70% financing. And all that good stuff. This is all copied from the memorandum. So we have a gross potential income of 108 and change a year, another $800, which they say you can get from the laundry that exists on site, and then costs over 2017 totals 43,399, which constitutes 45.25% of net income. Giving us 52,491 in NOI. Now, that's the money that the properties bring in after expenses. Our debt service is larger than that, so our cash flow would be negative, almost negative 14, which for obvious reasons doesn't make this particularly appealing. If you look at this, this is a C-class property. Not just my analysis. The broker claims this is a C-class property, and they're asking for less than a 4 cap. Cash on cash return is negative, obviously not interesting, and you've got a debt coverage ratio which no bank would let you get away with. So their numbers are not going to work. Let's see what I think is a more realistic analysis of reality. It's a better analysis rather of reality where the asking price stays the same, but I'm making some different assumptions about costs and vacancies. They've got 12% vacancy. I'm saying that probably be gotten down to 10%, and we'll keep rents as they are, but I'm going to raise expenses so that they're about 50%, and of course, at that pace, we have less NOI, still the same debt service, and we're now at negative 17 debt service. Debt coverage ratio obviously hasn't changed. So with real numbers, the story doesn't get any better. It gets, or real assumptions rather, or more conservative assumptions. The story doesn't get any better. Let's look at some of the upsell that they're trying to push. So they're saying if you stick in another 11,000 per unit, you're going to get another 200, 250 extra in rent a month per unit. So let's add that 110,000 in repairs and reserves as we buy the property. We raise the rent by $200, so now the gross potential income goes up to 132. We're going to keep the expenses more or less the way they were when I was assuming 50% of the original rental income. So that's actually more around the 42%. Which gives us an NOI of close to 70, and that gives us an annual cash flow of 3,307. Cap rates 5. We're still getting less than 1% of cash and cash return, and your debt coverage ratio is too low. No bank's going to lend you money under these circumstances. So finally, let's look at what would be needed in order for this to make any sense. So they're asking for $1,350,000. I've now gotten to the conclusion that probably the most you could offer for this is 700,000. That's assuming you stick in 110 in repairs. So you're going to have to raise 360,000 in order to buy this place. That's going to give you, leaving all the other assumptions in place, meaning the 50,000 in expenses more or less. We're now our debt service is down to 34,000. Our cash flow annually is up to 36. Cap rate is now a 10 cap, and your cash and cash is 10%, and you're at a very healthy 2.05 DCR. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that you're going to find anybody selling or offering something at less than a 4 cap, accepting a 10 cap. But that's what it would take for me to even consider this property.